have Justin Tucker available for you all. Just a quick announcement here for the media corps. We appreciate everyone's patience. We do have a spread out schedule with our players today. We're trying to handle availability around meetings, so we appreciate everyone's patience, and we'll communicate our player abilities to the best of our ability. We'll open it up here to Justin.
Hey guys, I guess I'll start it off by saying, obviously, the result of last night's game was not what we were looking for in any regard. It's no matter how deep you get into the postseason, if you don't win the whole thing, it's disappointing. My individual performance last night was also, disappointing to me as well. But, at the end of the day, I am really proud of this team, this organization, the way we battled through a lot of adversity this season. We came together as a team, as a family, and I couldn't be prouder to be associated with such a great group of men and women that make up the Baltimore Ravens. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
We'll get started here with Jamison Hensley.
Hey, Justin, many of us weren't there at the game. How bad were the winds? And I don't know if you have a wind measuring in your career, but was that the trickiest winds you've faced in your career?
Yeah, Jamison. On the field, the wind was definitely swirling around. It was pretty consistent, and then you would get a sudden gust that made it quite difficult to kick the ball. I think it was quite apparent that it was difficult to get a ball to go where you want it to go. Kicking or throwing the ball, anytime you're putting the ball up in the air and subjecting it to the wind when it's that significant, it's simply just going to have an effect. And sometimes you don't know what that effect will be. For what it's worth, I do everything that I can in pregame to figure out how the ball will track, from the left hash, from the right hash, from certain distances, each direction of the field. And it was just a really tough wind to figure out. I think what's even more frustrating is that when the ball leaves my foot, typically I know in that instant whether or not the kick is going to be good. And as soon as the ball left my foot on the two misses that I had last night, it was exactly that. I felt like the ball came off my foot really, really well, and the ball just didn't go through. And at the end of the day, almost doesn't cut it. Putting points on the board is important, and failing to do so certainly had an impact on the game early on last night. So I'll just leave it at that.
We'll go to Sean Stepner.
Hey, Justin, thanks for taking the time. That kind of wind and those conditions, is it even something you can practice for, or is it just, rely on your past experience in different conditions and let it fly?
Yeah, Sean, I think it's one of those things that we do everything we can in Owings Mills outside at practice every single day. We go outside and we work in the weather, whatever the weather may be. As specialists, we make it a point to go outside even when the rest of the team may be inside. Early on in the season, we'll go down to our own stadium to try to experience whatever conditions we may be facing on game days throughout the regular season. But when you're trying to get a ball to go where you want it to in 15, 20 mile an hour winds with gusts even higher, you ultimately just have to rely on technique and leg strength and just try to power the ball exactly where you want it to go. And at a certain point, you just have to, try to crush the ball and, hope it works out well for you. And, that's basically what we tried to do last night. And I've said this time and time again, we make kicks, and every once in a while I happen to miss one. And last night I happened to miss two. And, I frankly wouldn't have changed anything technically that I did, on both of those field goal attempts. But that doesn't make me feel any better about, not putting those points on the board early in the game, and certainly not better about, failing to win the football game.
Ryan Mink.
Yeah, Justin, you've kicked in a lot of difficult conditions and windy conditions. Just where would that rank? Was that the toughest win because of the unpredictability that you've ever kicked in?
I don't know if I'm necessarily interested in ranking how difficult the conditions were last night compared to any other game that we've played, because simply put, that's not important. What's important is finding a way to put the ball through the posts, regardless of the difficulty of the conditions that we're facing. I mean, I've said this before, but accountability is key. And at the end of the day, my job is to make the kick, no matter what the circumstance. And I just didn't do that last night. Thankfully, kind of got it together, and was able to power the ball on a shorter field goal attempt. But still, it was in a way, I'll answer your question. It was very tough to kick a ball in that stadium last night.
Jeff Cerebet.
Justin, because of your success, the bar is set so high for you to the point where one miss and, people are saying, okay, what's wrong with Justin Tucker? But what do you take, a more general question is, what do you take from the season as a whole? You're a guy that's always working on your craft, trying to get better. How do you approach this off season from an individual standpoint?
Yeah, Jeff, I appreciate you saying that, and recognizing that what we do as specialists, we take it very seriously. It is our craft, and we work at it every single day. So the season as a whole, over the next several weeks, months even, it'll be something I will get a chance to reflect upon. And I think overall, as far as me kicking the ball goes, I think, we did a good job consistently putting the ball through the posts when we needed to, for the most part. Our special teams, I think, did an excellent job of stepping up in every single way. We had a kickoff coverage team that, you look at the 10 guys, the 5 guys to the left and right of me kicking the ball. And this may have been the first time that every single one that I can remember, that every single one of those guys would have been worthy of a double or a triple team. Guys were running their tails off, high effort, high focus, high level of execution. And that's not just our kickoff team. That's every facet of our special teams. Guys came in locked in and ready to execute at a high level. I think a lot of credit goes to Chris Horton for getting us prepared through the week and unique circumstances. About halfway through the season, we had to switch to doing everything like we're doing right now over Zoom. And when you're talking about the game of football and how close we all are and the camaraderie that we develop just by being in the same room together, the pandemic certainly made things difficult from that aspect. But all that considered, Chris, Randy, TJ, Harbs did a great job of getting us ready to go. So what I would rather reflect upon over my own successes and or failures is how well we came together as a special teams unit, how well we came together as a team and battled through adversity throughout the season. This will certainly be a season that I think many of us will reflect upon and recognize as unique, difficult, but in a very strange way, highly rewarding.
Donna Jean Rumbly.
And I was going to say, actually, Justin, you might say you failed in a couple kicks, but you didn't fail in bringing Baltimore together. And I must say thank you for that. That should make you feel proud, because with everything going on the past year, I feel like, you know, Baltimore really came together because of you guys. So thank you. Hopefully that makes you feel
Thanks for
good.
saying that. That's really cool. Thanks for saying that.
Have anything else for Justin here? Hey, Justin, we appreciate you joining us today. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. And to all you guys covering the team, thanks for, you know, being flexible yourselves. I know doing Zoom calls from your cars and, you know, from your home offices has probably been interesting to say the least. So, you know, I kind of miss you guys, you know, so have a great rest of your winter, spring, and hopefully we'll get to catch up soon.